Welcome back. We are at Merkin Concert Hall for the first of this year's collaborations between New Sounds Live and the Ecstatic Music Festival. I'm John Schaefer. We will all be back here a week from Wednesday, February 6th, for a program that will feature the band Clogs, the composer Sarah Kirkland Snyder, and the Orchestra for the Next Century. And we'll have special guest vocalists like D.M. Stith and Shara Warden, so it'll be a real gathering of the tribes here on stage at Merkin Hall that evening, February 6th. It's a Wednesday. I hope you'll join us. We're broadcasting on WNYC via delay and live webcasting on q2music.org, where all of the Ecstatic Music Festival events are being recorded for on-demand streaming. So even after the event, you can hear any of these concerts at q2music.org/ecstatic. Well, now is the time for the big event. Tonight, the world premiere of a major new piece, a song cycle written by Carla Kihlstedt for ICE, the International Contemporary Ensemble. So to tell us about the piece, please welcome back to the stage here at Merkin Hall, Carla Kihlstedt. So that was an eventful first half for you.
It was.
A little bit of sort of free improv, some more structured improv, and now we get to what I'm going to assume is a pretty composed score.
Compared to anything on the first half, this is actually a very composed score.
Mm-hmm.
There's some freedom in different sections of it, some transitions between movements that are kind of improvised within kind of structures, parameters that we've set out, and there's one movement, movement 6 called the Donified Sky, which is entirely improvised except for a set of notes for the bass flute and a melody that I sing at the end.
Mm-hmm. What was, when you and ICE first got together, what was the big idea?
Oh gosh.
What was the big idea?
All right, first of all, it was terrifying. For me. I don't think it was terrifying for you guys, but it was terrifying for me. Like, never written for harp before. Never written for, I've never done anything for such a large and fully realized ensemble. So I had, the very first time we met, the thing we knew was that it was going to be based on dreams, and it was going to be a set of songs inspired by dreams that I would collect from them and from myself and from friends, and then we set up a Facebook page and let the world have at it. And I culled ideas and images from that. The very first time we met was basically me in a room with each one of them individually asking all of my really remedial, dumb questions, like what's the range of your instrument, and how do you write for percussion, and they were incredibly patient and incredibly generous, and in a way that's the most profound, that first baby step of total unknowingness is the scariest one in any kind of new project, and that's partly why this model of commissioning music is so profound for me anyway. Like I write for people. I write for people I know, and I've always been in bands where I'm writing for and writing with people that I've known for years and sometimes decades, and so the writing for an objective, like that person plays the bassoon, so she must sound like this, is kind of not so much fun.
Well,
for
Duke
me,
Ellington famously said that. I don't write for a trumpet. I write for a trumpeter.
Right, right.
It wasn't just like, well, the trumpet can do this. It was, no, Cootie Williams can do this.
Right, exactly. And there's a lot of things in this piece that came directly from what these amazing people submitted and were generous enough to share with me in terms of their dream imagery, and B, from very specific languages that they can muster on their instruments.
So after going through the whole process of learning what the parameters of each instrument were, at some point it seems like you just said, well, the hell with parameters. Let's see what else you got. I don't want to give anything away, but there are a couple of striking moments in this 9-song cycle that have to be heard to be believed. And your role, the boys were saying before, Causing a Tiger, that they had asked you not to play violin, but here you get to do both, right?
Here I get to do both, and my violin role in this is actually kind of a section. I haven't written myself a soloistic part at all, and because for me it was actually more interesting to see what I could do with the textures and the group textures. So, yeah, and my whole career has been like I started in school training to be a soloist and backing away from that because in the end of the day I don't find that interesting. So,
let me ask you just about the title before we hear the piece. At night, we walk in circles and are consumed by fire. Does that have any relation to any of the dream imagery in the songs?
That was the first thing I knew about the piece, was the title. And please don't ask me to recite the Latin because I don't have it off the top of my head. But my father-in-law, Arnold Bossi, is a wordsmith of sorts. And at some point on the phone, he's always, he's the one we call and say, what does this word mean? And he'll look it up if he doesn't know it. And at some point on the telephone years ago, he told us, he said there's this wonderful palindrome, Latin palindrome, which translates to, at night we walk in circles and are consumed by fire. And if that doesn't conjure a dream state, I'm not quite sure what does. And it's a little bit of an unwieldy title, but it is also a very evocative
the Latin
one.
original, though. In Girum imus nocte consumimur ignis. 4 years of high school Latin never goes away.
Yeah, all the students in my Latin class in 8th grade just were all they wanted to know is how to say Sesame Street in Latin, so I know how to say that. It's viam sesamimum.
Very nice. All right. Tie score. So, this is the moment. You ready?
I'm so ready. I am. I'm really ready.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Carla Kihlstedt, Ice, and the world premiere of At Night We Walk in Circles and Are Consumed by Fire.